I've listened to all the conditions that you've highlighted, whether it's the China trade dispute, the potential headwind from oil, and it seems to me it all comes back to the election as the biggest concern. If you go back to 1949, I'm sure you know this, third year of a presidential cycle, the average return for the S&P 500 is 16%. The problem is when you get into that fourth year. So really, it becomes about the election. And Lee, can we have an election, because I can't remember one, where you have social justice, a referendum on the deportment of the current president versus the economy versus the stock market? Doesn't the performance of the economy and the stock market always win out in the final result?
Well, the stock market reflects the economy. If the economy continues to grow, the stock market will be fine. You know, let me say this. I have a cautious appraisal of 2020. I'm not bearishly situated. I'm 30% in cash. I'm 70% invested. I'm dealing with real money. It's real. You know, it's my money. I'm not, you know, when I was a kid, if you told me I would keep 30% of my money in cash when it was yielding 1.5%, I would tell you you're nuts. That never would happen. But, you know, I've become somewhat more conservative. I'm worried about the debt buildup. I'm worried about the shift to the left in the country. I'm worried about market structure. You know, the market structure has been destroyed. When I came to Wall Street 50-odd years ago, and I joined Goldman Sachs when I had a great run and a fabulous firm, you know, basically, they traded stocks at 50 cents a share, and the VOCA rule didn't exist. Commissions are now zero, and we have a VOCA rule, so the brokerage community doesn't stabilize. Secondly, 50 years ago, the New York Stock Exchange handled 80 or 90% of the volume. Today, 80% of the volume is off the board, so the specialist system doesn't stabilize. And thirdly, we no longer have an uptick rule, which gives rise to all these high-frequency quantitative traders running wild, and they basically exaggerate the upside, because they buy strength, and they exaggerate the downside because they sell weakness. So, you know, the market structure has been destroyed. But at the end of the day, you have to go with the assumption, if the economy does well, the stock market will do well. I'm worried about the debt buildup, and there's nobody out there, nobody's talking about debt. You know, Stan Druckenmiller and Ken Langone spent a lot of time talking about it. They were on college tours, Kevin Wash. But nobody's talking about it. The Republicans aren't talking about it. The Democrats aren't talking about it. All they're talking about is social justice and the right tax rate. Well, I believe in capitalism. I'm a capitalist with a heart. I'm a capitalist with a heart. The best economic system is capitalism. And Winston Churchill said it well. He said, you don't make poor people rich by making rich people poor. Okay? He also said, as a paraphrase, you know, the main vice of capitalism is the uneven distribution of prosperity. The main vice of socialism is the equal distribution of misery. I respect Ray Dalio. He's a man that, like myself, took the Giving Pledge, I believe. He's done very good things with his money. I don't think he's recommending socialism. Okay? We have to deal with the problems. And this is why I took the Giving Pledge. I want to give it. The greatest joy I get in life is to see my kids and my grandkids grow up in good health, and the good philanthropy can do. Excuse me. The last thing I got to be is emotional with a bunch of capitalists. But I don't know, Joe, if I answered your question. I think the election is very, very important. And if we tilt to the left, it's going to be a very big negative for the stock market. It'll be a negative for multiples. It'll be a negative for profits. I think Elizabeth Warren comes across to me, to be honest with you, as a hater. Basically, she wants to do something damage to business. She wants to do damage to wealthy people. She seems to resent wealthy people. Bernie Sanders the same. I see it differently. I see it very differently.
Let me the final question, because we're having some technical stuff again. Since you're ending with what you just said about Elizabeth Warren, given all that you said and how you think about it and how others think about it, maybe who are watching this interview do as well. Her message is resonating somewhere. She's in some polls leading Vice President Biden. That in and of itself must say something about the way that the country or certain parts of the country are thinking about issues today. Do you think she can win?
I would say, I only know what I read in the polls. I hope not, but the polls say 40% chance or something like that. We can't afford it because I can't imagine that Congress will go along with her ideas. So we'll have 4 more years of gridlock. But as the President Trump has shown, there's a lot of latitude, initiatives that they can do without the support of Congress. We need different kind of leadership, and she is not the leadership that the country needs. There are many Democrats who, I'll be honest with you, I'm apolitical. Amy Klobuchar impresses me as being a very sound person. Look at how poorly she's doing in the polls, because the Democratic Party is so far to the left. I'll tell you a conversation I had 4 years ago. I went to Michael Bloomberg. I've known Michael for 30-odd years. He was a very worthy competitor, was a partner at Solomon. I was a partner at Goldman Sachs. I went to him and said, Michael, if you run, I'll work for you, I'll vote for you, and I'll give you money. His response was, very gracious of you, Lee, I'm not running. A 5'6" multi-billionaire divorced Jew running as an independent can't win. I'm not running. I'm not running as a Democrat. I am not acceptable to the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party too far to the centrist. I'm not a lefty. I'm not a righty. I'm a centrist. I voted for Republicans in the past. In 2016, I effectively wasted my vote. I wrote in for Mitt Romney. Okay? So I'll vote the man and vote the issues. The president has done a very, very excellent job in the economy. He's not done a good job finding people. He's got to fix. He's got to be a president country of his base. I don't want to be a subject of his tweet. Bless America.
Yeah. I know. Lee,
is what it is.
Let me do this. Because we're having some technical problems. I apologize to you and to everybody for that, the last part of your answer there. I hope to talk to you soon, and I thank you very much for coming on Halftime today to talk about your letter, this conversation that's so important, and I have a feeling isn't going away anytime soon. Lee, we will talk to you again soon, and hopefully we'll do it here.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me.